John chapter 1, starting in verse 35. The next day, John was there again with two of his disciples. When he saw Jesus passing by, he said, "Look, the Lamb of God." When the two disciples heard him say this, they followed Jesus. Turning around, Jesus saw them following and asked, "What do you want?" They said, "Rabbi," which means teacher. "Where are you staying?" "Come," he replied, "and you will see." So they went and saw where he was staying, and they spent the day with him. It was about 4 p.m. Andrew, Simon Peter's brother, was one of the two who had heard what John had said and who would follow Jesus. The first thing Andrew did was find his brother Simon and tell him, "We have found the Messiah," that is, the Christ. And he brought him to Jesus. Jesus looked at him and said, "You are Simon, son of John. You will be called Cephas," which when translated is Peter. Verse 43. The next day, Jesus decided to leave for Galilee. Finding Philip, he said to him, "Follow me." Philip, like Andrew and Peter, was from the town of Bethsaida. Philip found Nathanael and told him, "We have found the one Moses wrote about in the law, about the one whom the prophets also wrote, Jesus of Nazareth, the son of Joseph." Nazareth? Can anything good come from Nazareth? Nathanael said. "Come and see," said Philip. When Jesus saw Nathanael approaching, he said to him, "Here truly is an Israelite in whom there is no deceit." "How do you know me?" Nathanael asked. Jesus answered, "I saw you while you were still under the fig tree, before Philip called you." Then Nathanael declared, "Rabbi, you are the Son of God. You are the King of Israel." Jesus said, "You believe because I told you I saw you under the fig tree. You will see greater things than that." He replied, "Very truly I tell you, you will see heaven open and the angels of God ascending and descending on the Son of Man." This was the calling of Jesus to his disciples. First, he runs into the two disciples that were John's disciples, and they decide to follow Jesus. But they notice something that was different about Jesus. First, John calls out, this is John the Baptist calling out, "That's the Lamb of God." So the two get up and follow. They follow Jesus. They spent the day with him, but they'd seen and heard something they'd never heard before. Andrew was so interested and engaged, he had to tell his brother Simon. So Simon meets Jesus, and he too starts to follow Jesus. And it was just a simple ask, just come, follow me. Then it's interesting, you're running into Philip and Nathanael. And Nathanael's the one that is the truth teller. He says, "Can anything good come from Nazareth?" Because Nazareth was it wasn't a great place, and it was actually looked down upon. So him making that comment was like that's somebody from, I don't know, pick the worst town on the planet that you can think of. He's from that city or that bad town. No, he encounters Jesus. Jesus prophesies and said, "I saw you under that fig tree." And somehow that's how Nathanael knew. But all four of these guys, as they meet Jesus, they all meet him in a similar but different way. He encounters them. He gives one a name. He gives Peter a name, Simon Peter. He tells Nathanael he saw him under a fig tree. And yet, you see that they all followed him. And maybe they had their own thoughts of why they would follow him, but Jesus knew each of them. He knew them by name. Isn't that something? That he knows his followers by name. He knew they all had a purpose. He saw something in them that they didn't see in themselves yet. Remember, he says to Nathanael at the end of this, "You will see greater things than these." They will experience something so different in their time with Jesus and beyond. And maybe that's what he's calling you and me to be part of. Something greater than we're part of now. Now, brother and sister here at New Season, we might not seem like much, but he's calling you on to the greatest mission of all time. To love God, love people, and make disciples. And we might not be much today. It might not feel like much, but hear this. He has a purpose. He knows you by name. He has a calling for your life right now, right here in this season. God's got this. The best is yet to come. Join us tomorrow as we pick up in John chapter 2.